Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Carolina Conversation. I'm your host, Shammond Williams, and I have one of my favorites with me today. He hails from the Bronx, New York. He is one of the most athletic players to ever play at the University of North Carolina. He was also a 1990 McDonald's All-American. He also was a participant on the 1993 National Championship team. I've known this man for a long, long time. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Brian B. Reese.
Oh, brother, no, brother, how you? Happy to be here, of course. You know, you call, you know I'm here anytime.
No question, B. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. Family's doing well. Son doing good up in New York. Turned 25. Brian Jr. 26 now. It's crazy. Time flies. You know,
no question. Yeah, I remember when he was born. Good.
Yeah,
gracious.
exactly. Now he's doing the girl and everything. Cleve's doing this thing, working for Apple. So I'm blessed on that part, doing this thing. And you know, my 16-year-old, he might be going to the North Carolina Math and Science. Hopefully, just coming up his junior year. He's 16. Taylor, he's doing well. My daughter into the acting and everything. She's doing well. She's holding down the fort. Period. You know what I mean?
No question.
Still coaching out there in Turkey with Rodel. You know, he back again from working with him with the German national team to qualify for Olympics this summer. So it's been great. Just been out there doing what we do. Just coach and give back.
Yeah, no question. Now you spoke about coaching with Henry with the German national team, and now you're with him in Ankara, Turkey at Turk Telecom.
Yeah.
Tell us, how is it for you coaching in the European market as opposed to being domestic? What are some of the different things other than now you're on a professional level as opposed to being on the collegiate level? So what are the pros and cons of those things for yourself?
Well, for me, it's best, it's different just going to the German national team when, once again, dealing with pros and dealing with, your ages from, 18 to 21, things like that. So that mindset had to change from you can't be all hands-on like you was when I was in college for the last 11 years. So now I took the approach and the good thing about Rodel knows me well, so he knew how to use me. I'm handling most of the defensive part of things, and then working out the guys mostly, and then really building that core relationship with the guys. So I stay close to them. I'm still in the gym working out, getting right. So I'm still to be on the floor a little bit. The knees ain't working like it used to, but that's the biggest change for me, and just the blessing for the first chance just working with the pros. That's a big plus for me, having that opportunity working with pros, and they really want to come in and work out. They about trying to get that next paycheck. That's a little bit for me, instead of trying to instill it with the college kids. I'm trying to show them, everyone's not going to make it. You still have to have this type of mentality about your work ethic at 100 degrees at all time. Those type of things, that concept that I had to use a lot, with the college kids. But now that the pros is they hear like, Coach, where are you? I want to be in the gym, that type of thing better. And, I think I kind of helped them a lot with that. So that's been really good for me. Now, of course, don't get me wrong. I definitely miss working with the kids. It's just that growth process. These guys are already there. And then in the college level, I was, pretty good in working with the kids and getting them to their goals, no matter what their goals might be. Don't always have to necessarily be the pros or playing overseas or anything, because I coach at a lot of mid-major levels and things like that. So that's the biggest thing. But I'm enjoying working with those pros, so hopefully it's a new start for me in a different area, and I'm ready for the challenge. So
no question. Now, how do you like living in Ankara, Turkey?
This capital. They got me hooked up right next to the arena. The people are treating me great, when you're the coach and as a player. Also, overseas, they treat us pretty good. I pay for nothing. The cost of living is really, really cheap. Is unbelievable. And then, Istanbul right there. So I'm 4 hours from there. So we played most of our games. We have like 8 teams out of the 16 teams that's in my league.
Right.
8 of them is in Istanbul.
Right.
They're either on the European side or the Asian side. So I'm learning a lot and just, enjoying the seaside, you know what it is.
Yes.
so pretty cool. So, and we're doing pretty good as with the team since we've been there. We are 7-3 right now as far as since I've been there. I've been there. So we started out in 13th place. We're trying to make the playoffs right now. We moved to the 9th spot. But we still 2 or 3 games that we gotta lean on someone else to lose, and we gotta keep winning the way we are. And then, of course, how the opportunities work for a job next year and things like that. So they really enjoying us right now. We've been winning, but it's part of the business. We got to keep winning. So that's
no question. No question. I like Ankara a great deal. I've been there before. I played against Turk Telecom, so. You're in a good place for sure, and like I said before, it is like you said, it's the capital of Turkey. So I've been there a few times and experienced some great things and some informative things as well while being there.
Big time.
Yeah,
places that you go to and you familiarize yourself and you never knew, but then when you go, you're like, wow, this is it. This is the history, and you coming in embracing it. They embrace you. So
no question. That as they say, that right there was a bar. If people are able to internalize what you just said, a lot of people can be more, can appreciate Europe a little bit better if they're willing to ingratiate themselves in the culture. It'll make the time much better. It'll make the time much better. So let's rewind the hands of time, man. Let's go back. Rewind the hands of time.
Okay.
In 1990, a young man from St. Nicholas to Tulatine
yes, sir,
chose to go to the University of North Carolina. Now, sidebar, ladies and gentlemen, here's a sidebar. See, I've known B. Reese since I was probably 13 years old because he went to school with my cousin, Gina. And for me, even though I was down in the South, born in New York, was down in the South, if I did the things that I needed to do, I was promised that I would be able to go to Tulatine for my high school career. That didn't happen, but nonetheless. 1990, what made Brian Reese choose the University of North Carolina?
Well, North Carolina always been my dream school, just coming out of the Bronx, didn't know exactly what direction was going to go in, but, my first letter, I got from Larry Brown, he's a Kansas. I'm like, the first one for Kansas, he related to North Carolina. I was already set, you know what I mean?
Right.
Things like that. But then, as your career go on, things blossom, people start touching you a little bit. North Carolina came around my 10th grade year. And it was really important for me to be like, wow, dang, North Carolina wanted this kid from the Bronx. Okay, I must be making a little noise. So I really locked into that all through my sophomore and junior year, so that I got committed early, late kind of to everybody compared to everybody else our junior year, but senior year, I already know where I was going. So I chose North Carolina. I always wanted to go there. And then, I'm on some team stuff, I'm about the group. I want to win. I want to help be part of that. And I always was like that at Talent Town. We had Malik Seal, Adrian Autry, we had some dudes. It's hard to just be that dude. I ain't never been that dude on Riverside or anything. I've been a piece of that dude, and then it kind of like carried me over to Carolina. I was a piece that I want to play. I want to be on the floor. So I did that through my defense and however else I knew what the coach needed in the game, and they worked out for us. I was playing my freshman year, backing up Rick Fox. Thought I was spot. How we when you first get me there, but there's a lot of bees around that place. Okay? So you learn.
I mean, you were highly, you were a big time recruit. One of the top 20 players in America. But you also played, like you alluded to, you played on a great basketball team with some great players. Malik Sealy, rest his soul. Red, and those are just the marquee names. A lot of people don't know the other guys that you played with, but you were on a solid basketball, one of the best teams in the country. Let's just keep it real. You was on one of the best teams in the country. And so, you choosing to go to the University of North Carolina, for me at the time being young, I didn't know anything about North Carolina, but I found it to be interesting, especially somebody of your magnitude to lead a city. Yeah. You know what I mean? To lead a city, especially with, Malik going to St. John's and then Red choosing to go to Syracuse. It was like, B. Reese go to North Carolina. It was like, okay, but nonetheless, like you said, you're a team individual. And so it kind of made sense. So after making the decision, B, and you getting down to the University of North Carolina, explain to us how it was when you first stepped on campus, from the environment of, moving into your dorms or whatever. But what people really want to hear is, how was that basketball environment?
Oh, man. Well, I touched ground. I got there early. I got there right when I graduated. I graduated like that Thursday or something. I was in Chapel Hill that Saturday already. My high school coach drove me down. My mom's wanted me out of the city,
Right.
You know how the city do you. So she wanted
no
me
question.
down. They had the little program, Project Uplift and all that stuff. I could work some hours and get some early classes because I needed it. You know what I mean? So I came through early, touched on campus. And the first thing you know, everybody's in the gym. It's time to work out, get some workouts. And I was with George and Kenny Harris and all of them. And then, we heard Mike was in town. I was there just a whole week. He come through, driving, got his Lambo and everything. And, I'm the same dude, I'm here trying to play just like everybody else play.
Right.
And come to the gym, New York and all that, talking how you do. So we go down there and got a big awakening. Get a chance to play. Dudes was watching on the side, yo. I was so heated. And, it was a lot of us that came in 5 minutes. The only person that got a chance to play was like Eric Montrose and because they were big dudes. We surfed over there trying to figure out what we did to ourselves. But thank God, for King Rice and like Rick Fox, to really talk to me and be like, nah, you gotta wait your time and understand this is the way it is. I'm like, Dad, we come down, we don't even play. We playing the walk on the other side, trying to get something. So that first week was a little tough, I watched some good balling, man. He was there, Davis, Perk was there, them dudes, dudes came back, was playing with them dudes, man. And I was seeing some good ball. I ain't touched the floor until like the third pickup. It's just because everybody was leaving.
Right. Yo.
So, but you learn, that's the beginning, that's the process. You learn. That's how you get better. You gotta earn that time. It's not given, and that carries to this day with me.
Right. The interesting part about this is the people that actually listen to this, and every player that I interview, I always ask, how was it when you first got to campus? And it never fails. It's the same answer. So people are beginning to see that we're not just talking. You get this from somebody that came in 1990. You get the same thing that came from somebody that came in 2004 to 2009.
100, brother.
You don't play. You sit over there and you watch, or you get some shots up on the side goal, or you try to put together a team with some of the, the walk-on.
Better not leave.
For sure, you better not leave. You better not leave. So
really get lost. You really
no question.
not, you know what I mean? You leave if you want to.
It's gonna be a problem. A
big problem.
And so now, B. Reese, you get your summer out the way. And so now you're embarking into your freshman year there. And like you said before, you came in with 5 other freshmen. highly touted freshman, arguably the best class in North Carolina's history, with you, D. Phelps, Clifford Rozier, Eric Montross, with Sal,
Pat Sullivan,
and Sal, right? With Sal?
Sal did the same thing. We classified his, just like Pat did his junior year. They junior year.
Okay. And Pat Sullivan.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the biggest classes, and like I said, the strongest class to ever come into the University of North Carolina. So, when you guys began to practice, what did you begin to understand or experience about, playing summer is one thing, but now Coach Smith is in the building, and things change a little bit.
Oh yeah, the structure of it, the just trying to fit in, once again, it's Rick's Fox. He knew he'd been there already, but I wasn't trying to. I was trying to fight for minutes. Even him, I wasn't thinking about what he's done for the last 3 to 4 years there, experience and stuff like that. It was hard for me to see. But then a good thing, like I said, like King, Rice, and even Rick was really big for me. Like just talking to me, saying, "Bro, we need you, act, come get some shots up with us. Let's learn this play, learn, Then Rick was on some, you gonna play. You're going to get my man, I can't play the hard games. And so then he started collaborating with me on the players that we was going to play against. You know what I'm saying? What the job was, the task of the day. And I was like, that, okay, he really trying to help me. That's a lot for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My concept was more like, I got to get some minutes. I ain't going to I don't know. I know he Rick Fox, but, I want to play.
Yeah, my mama watching.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody watching, So I was on it like that. But then the way, like I said, like King and them helped me, Pete Chilcutt, the older dudes, and of course George tried to help. George was more like me. We should be playing. Yo, man, man, listen here. I was not like that, brother. Let's just do our part.
Right.
So you get hit with that reality stick, and if you can't handle it, it's kind of difficult, but everybody can, but I felt like I did a good job with the support of the older guys that been through it already, especially like King, he was humongous for me. I keep saying that. And then also like Rick, I was behind him, and then my minutes came from 5 to 10, and then I started getting 15 to 17 by the second half of the season. That's humongous as a freshman.
Yeah, that's big time minutes for a freshman.
As I put me get a little human minutes, get a little, Rick minutes. They throw me at the 4 a little bit because I competed on the defensive end, but that is about getting those little minutes. Coach was big on.
No question.
Especially that path.
What?
Hey, make your minutes useful.
Yeah. No question. You did good.
What?
You did good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so like you said, playing with Rick and playing with King, King was the ultimate leader for sure, because you and he had have such an outstanding relationship with you working with King and to help him get Monmouth started up and turn it into the great mid-major that it is. So after that freshman year, you guys had a relatively good year, had a really good year. And yeah, a really good year, put a banner up in that thing. Yeah. Hey, put a banner up in that thing with the Final Four banner. So, so after having such a great season and being a piece of it, going into your sophomore year, having some of those guys leave, going to the league and move on. How was your thought process and mindset going into your sophomore year? Because, like I said, you were very intricate in that team. I mean, DP played as well, and Montross played, but you were extremely valued because you played multiple positions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, how was it going into your sophomore year? That role, the responsibility coming into it, especially after, going to the Final Four. How was that?
Yeah, it was good for me. I knew how to get in shape. I came in good shape. Still not, our coaches, not knowing if it's going to be mine, but I was feeling like it was going to be mine. But Pat was there. Pat was a good practice guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad he wasn't that great in the games. he had a little button that he didn't know to turn on. I turned on the button in the games. You know what I mean? But in practice, he just knew what to do a little bit more, and he had the mid-range shot. So I had to come in here and defense prevailed more so than anything for my rebound and defense that got me over the top to play even before Pat, because Pat is a talented player. That's why I don't understand that. So he became the guy that I was battling against on a daily, and coming from doing it with Rick, busting my ass all summer,
Right.
all year.
Yeah.
I'll go and do it to Pat a little bit, because
No question.
you got to establish that if you want to play. So I was a starter my sophomore year, and it became a little bit easy because I really bought in like 100%. I even, to the point that, Hubert was our leader,
Right.
and, Hubert wasn't as
vocal,
and neither was even George, but George won't allow things to
right.
cracks, because he put too much work out there too.
Yeah.
So at least he would say, but I still knew who our leaders was, and Hubert was a really good leader for us. The way he managed it, because he showed through his actions, and I love that. He can put his heart on every day, even for practice and everything. But once again, we knew. Just like we were screening for Donald, we were screening for Hubert, and that let's get to the Sweet 16 and get the wins that we got that year because we followed his lead and it was contagious, and then we got George, and then now Eric established, and now Derek is the point guard. So coach was like, here you go, Derek Phelps.
Yeah.
At the show, and it really worked out to have a good season, and it made me comfortable too. And like I said, I will always play with Derek, and then we had that 1 year, and I got some tick, so it kind of helped out tremendously.
Yeah. Y'all, y'all were beginning to make your impact individually, but collectively.
Yes.
And now, knowing the Carolina system and knowing what Coach Smith is about, you can see where it began. You can see like, okay, I've really done a great job in putting these pieces together that they work, collectively and cohesively. So, and so after having a good sophomore year, for yourself and as a team, starting at the University of North Carolina, man, that's more, and some people out, that's more prestigious than starting on the NBA basketball team. Okay. You know what I mean? Like,
that's like crucial. Like,
yeah,
you got to come every day. It's not
no question.
If you don't, that spot is gone. You don't.
Nope, ain't no doubt about it. A lot of people ask now, like, how do you keep talented guys in line, or, get them to do what you need them to do? And I said, have other talented guys, because as soon as they don't do what they're supposed to do, what I'm accustomed to, okay, get him. You might not, when we was coming, you might not touch that floor again. I mean, it was just that type of environment.
That's exactly what it was. I'm telling you. Come on.
So, yeah. So, I mean, you most definitely had the correct mindset, when you came in there. Now, you didn't know how, like you had to wait your turn, but you better get to it, because if you don't,
get to it, because you got a certain minute that you're going to allow that first half.
Yeah.
After 3 minutes, you out of there. So you better be on the 3 minutes acting like it's the last 3 minutes you will have for the game. Don't say for nothing.
Yeah.
Not say nothing.
Or you try to get smart at 2.5, try to raise your hand so you can come out. So you can come out so you can put yourself back in.
Yeah. That'll work. So it might work second half, not the first. Not the first half is not working. You get your time, you better use it because somebody coming in to get a chance.
Yeah, no question. So let's talk about going into your junior year.
Before we move on, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up for Bet Rivers yet, now is the time because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, it's more secure, and it's more reliable. Now that basketball season is tipping off, get in on the action at betrivers.com today or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. You must be 21 years or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And while I got you here, let's talk about the Field of 68 Media Network, where college basketball matters most all year round. This is a digital media and podcast network that we've been building over the course of the last year. We have shows hosted by some of your favorite players covering the program that they love the most. AJ Guyton hosts the House of Hoosier. Eric Devendorf covers Syracuse on the Scorer's Table. Dan Dickow hosts the Gonzaga Bulldog broadcast. We have Florida's Patrick Young and Duke's Andre Dawkins and North Carolina's Shammond Williams and Michigan's Stu Douglas and Illinois' Deion Thomas. The list goes on and on and on. We have more than 30 shows right now. So hit the links below and check them all out. And while you're at it, make sure that you go check out the Field of 12 Media Network, your home for college football.
Yeah.
Your junior year, you guys have gotten some significant time under your belt.
Yeah.
George is the leader now for sure.
Him, Rodel. Yeah,
and Rodel for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you going into that junior year, was there any thought processes going on with you guys as a team? Was there any talk about what your ceiling could be before that season started? How was that?
That whole summer, everybody was in the gym. We already put the Superdome in our locker room. Coach put a picture of the Superdome. He didn't even say, we didn't even talk nothing about it because we lost to Ohio State in the 16.
16, yeah.
So that kind of like threw us like, what? Hey, we supposed to be at 5-4 again because we went the year before.
That's right.
We bucking out. We lost this. We was on some weight room. I got stronger, put on some weight. Derek was in the weight room a little bit more. Like everybody was in the gym. We was all in there getting together. We was always playing together. So everybody was already putting it together. So even in the pickup games and everything, we was making it even teams. Guys wanted to go against dudes and really play. So it was really good. And then it carried over into practice. And then so when we came to practice, first few weeks of practice, even in the running, you do all that running,
yeah,
make the team and all that stuff. Everybody made the team, including me. Usually I don't. Yeah. I'm used to taxis and subways and all that. But I was all right. So I knew how to do it. 2 years under the belt, everybody was on it. Like George was the main guy, had guys on it like that. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we do it. Him and Rodel.
Right.
Everybody was in good shape, so we knew each other, and everybody wanted to assume position. Nobody was worrying about who was going to score the most, who was whatever. I was a leader, scored a lot of games. So was George. So was Eric. I was, Rodel. You don't know, but I know the bottom line. What we going to do? We going to sit down. We going to lock up. Nobody going to think it's sweet in there.
That's right.
You better make shots.
Right.
The defense was definitely a priority to the point. Coach allowed Derek just to orchestrate it and George to orchestrate it. Like it was no calls made. Derek put up 44s and 33, all that stuff.
Yeah.
George be already at you. We watched
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
finally, that was going on when everybody was feeling that, you know, like,
Right.
and we did that like starting midway of the season because we were just blowing people out.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to take that for granted. Our whole thing was just like, let's do this for Coach Smith, of course. You know what I mean? Everybody keep talking, especially after that 82 is the last one that's we supposed to. So, you know, it was a big focus on every game, one by one. Let's get the job defensively done.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to stop us offensively, collectively as a team, you know?
Yeah. Now, interesting that year, if you look at it from an outside perspective, that North Carolina team, you gained so much fame or so much hate, and it had nothing to do with Duke University.
Mm-hmm.
It had everything to do with the Michigan Fab Five.
Oh yeah.
Because that was the team that came in and kind of transcended basketball to a certain extent. Yeah. That crew of guys, and you guys had a chance to play them. Was it twice that year? Correct?
Yeah. We lost to them in Hawaii on a buzzer beater.
Yeah. So you know, you guys were the thorn in the side for one of the most celebrated teams. And most people looked at it from a perspective of, okay, you either like the Fab Five or you love the North Carolina Tar Heels. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, just from at that point in time, from an outsider's perspective, it was feast or famine, one or the other, because, you know, you had guys that, you know, that had a certain type of, as they say now, quote unquote, swag that was new, and then you had these guys that were seen to be a collective unit that seemed to be white collar, but the way they went and played was blue collar. So you know, I think just looking at it, you said, this is an interesting dynamic, and so, you know, having the opportunity to play against those guys and losing to them in Hawaii, and then making your trek throughout the ACC season, doing such a great job, and then getting into the NCAA tournament, you know, how was it when you guys won to get to the Final Four, knowing the teams that you were going to have to compete against? What was the mindset of the team at that point in time?
Oh, yeah. When we won the Sweet 16, getting into the four, it was big focus because, you know, Kansas beat us my freshman year in the final for the championship. So we played them to get to the championship. So that was humongous. It was really a solid game there. And guys already knew we can't lose to them again. You know, so
right.
We go to the Michigan game. They talking crazy the whole time, especially because they won the few months before up in Hawaii. Our main focus was about us. You know what I mean? We wanted to stick to the game plan. The whole game plan was to get Donald open, get the ball into Eric, you know, basically.
Right.
And then really execute that. And then when the time's going down, is usually my time or Donald's time. So, you know,
right.
to make a play. But it was basically that simple. And our defense was going to carry us. We were so confident in our team defense. It didn't matter who we played. And even when you could see that in the Kansas game, you could see that in the championship game against Michigan, you know. And once again, you know, the things, how they, you know, we was winning most of the whole game. Everybody want to talk about this timeout. That's part of the game. That's part about knowing what you need to do within the game. That's about
right.
discipline in the game. So if you talk about, I get how you talking about a swag. I had a swag. Okay.
No question.
Okay. So it's about having discipline and knowing the game and who can complete and finish the game. We did that the whole year. And I didn't care who was in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Kansas
right.
and Duke. You know, it was just the way we went about the work. knowing how to do. The coach wanted us to do it this way. We did it that way. We didn't go outside of that because we didn't have to. Like you said, we had enough talented guys that know how to play the game and at the same time not to execute and had the ability to do that.
Right.
That's how you win the game, right? So
no question.
That's how what we was on going to the Final Four. Definitely wasn't worrying about losing.
Yeah.
That never crossed our mind. If it happened, we'd have been like, damn, same way we were when we lost to Ohio State the year before. It was like, we lost? Nah, that's
Right.
incredible, kind of, we were
Yeah.
just winning. I mean, I had my 4 years, I won games at Carolina. I wasn't on no losing season type of deal, so.
No question. When you think back to that game, I think about it. You look and you say, my goodness, look how many, top, as they say, the McDonald's All-Americans that was in that championship game, man. When you started that game, the start of that game, there was, out of the 10 players, there were 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There were 8. And then you had one of the best European players in college basketball on the floor. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
You start looking at that talent that was actually on the floor and competing. Like today, that game there was today's NBA.
Yeah. A lot of guys. A lot of good players.
You know what I mean? At a young age, you know what I mean? Like now, if it was the same teams now, you guys would that would be an NBA basketball game. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like 18 and 19-year-old McDonald's All-American, that would be an NBA basketball game right there.
Yeah.
But and that's, people talk about today's game and the game that was played previously from us and oldest. It's like, look at all those McDonald's All-Americans and one of the best European players in college basketball. That's your NBA All-Star game.
That's it. Nah,
you know what I mean? You're like, that's the NBA All-Star game right there. And you just the magnitude of that game, and you just in hindsight, you look at it, it's like, my goodness, so many talented players on that floor competing. And not understand the word that I'm saying, competing, not performing. It's a difference. They could be perceived to be the same, but they're not. They're competing. And, and so what I want to ask you is, after, like you said, competing, even though when you get to the timeout and, how were you and how did you feel when you knew you were going to win the national championship?
Man, I was just like, Donald, I knew when they called timeout, I know Coach will have Donald shoot the free throws, and Donald was already feeling it. He was in a good space. We knew that. You know how you get hot, boy. You know how we know. Let's just go to him. It's easy. So we deal with Donald, and then he went to the free throw line. I looked at Coach, and he winked at me, and I was on it because I just stepped out of bounds. He just took my behind out because I took the ball out. I ran to the ball and I want to get on the free throw line. Before I go there, went back down. We was up by like 4 or something. And then we went down to 2, and then they did the timeout, whatever. But anyway, I was on the bench at this time. So when Donald had to shoot the free throws out there, the game's over, we good. And then I looked at Coach, and we started really like, okay, we here. Is what happened, and then he put me right back in after when he finished do the free throws, and if you can see at the end of the thing, I got my head back, fly, he was, so it was a blessing in all the work that we put through it, and that's what you want to do. And after you get a group of good guys that believe in that one thing, and that's the keep winning and winning this championship, when we did it. So that's just, not too many people who say that. So
no question. I most definitely can. And so, now you're a national champion, you know what I mean? And, being one of the greats from New York City, you and DP, guys get to bring the national championship back home. to all, like you said, all the the Maliks and the Reds and the Mash. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean? Like that's big time. That's big time. And so, being a national champion, I know was exhilarating. But the greatest thing about you guys too was you guys had the core of that team coming back the following year.
Yeah.
And so the summertime, explain to us what was the thought process summertime. I know you guys had lost Henrik, you guys had lost George. What was the thought process of that team?
Oh, we coming in, we knew we had Stack and Rashid and Jeff. So we was gonna win it again, of course,
Right.
But then, my senior year, my first year day of practice, I broke my joint.
And funny that you say that because I was at the practice.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You was you was on your fence. That's right. So but before that, so you was there. You see how he was working out. I was in shape. Coach was putting everything under my wing. So I was supposed to be the voice and things. But then when that happened, I kind of went in a little shell because this is my senior year.
Yep, I saw the play myself, and a lot of people. And I'm gonna tell you, Reese, I don't know if you ever watched the documentary on Coach Smith.
Okay.
When they do the Coach Smith documentary, he's in practice.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see
that it. That was the practice.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm sitting, I can see. Yeah, I'm sitting on the sideline watching. And I see it. I said, that's when I had my visit. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you going up and coming down on his ankle. And it's like, oh, and I was like, me and my mom, like, oh,
So that hampered a lot of the thing, for the whole season. Not saying I was supposed to be all of, this, but just my influence and how I was for the team in that way, and the guys.
Yeah,
this is a big part. So
yeah, because I actually thought, watching you go down, because I knew you. I knew LD, I knew Stack, because we all, but you were somebody that I grew up kind of idolizing. You know what I mean? And to see you go down like that, I remember, like me and my mama looking at each other like, oh, like it's I didn't know you was gonna be able to make it back. You know what I mean?
That's what I did. I'm not supposed to. I rushed it back, but I still 100% because I was like, this is my senior year. I'm trying to play. I got Stack. She taking my minutes. I'm trying to, try to play. But I should have chilled because Coach Smith told me, he's like, just rest shirt, just that and the other thing, because they wanted to do surgery. I didn't want to do surgery. I just wanted to heal it. You know what I mean? But it took longer than I thought it's because I don't know. I thought I was gonna be strong enough to get it through, but it didn't. I didn't get back until the ACC tournament on almost.
Yeah,
it was just too late almost to try to have that cohesiveness with the team.
Right.
We had it that junior year, a show the young boys how to do it. It wasn't there. Right. Them young boys had to just step out because now, Salvador ain't gonna say too much. Eric ain't gonna say too, D Feezy. But as far as that, I helped recruit Stack and Rashid and on you, I helped recruit.
No question.
That's what I was with at the school at that time, being a junior, senior. I seen it through King. I seen it through Hubert and stuff. So I knew I was going to assume that role for the seniors, and it was going to be important. But I got in my own head space because I felt like because I did all these things, it was once again like, I'm hurt. Nobody worrying about me being hurt.
Right.
A lot of those demons started falling in place a little bit, but at the same time, you weather the storm, you try to figure it out after that. So, which I did, So
no question. Yeah. I mean, it was just. I mean, you can understand from the perspective of from where you come from, and what has always allowed B. Reese to be B. Reese. Like you said, you wasn't, for you, your own statement, you wasn't celebrated like most. but you were right there with everybody else. I mean, you weren't probably celebrated like Malik and Red, but you was a McDonald's All-American too. You one of the best players in the country as well. You know what I mean? You might have been not celebrated like King or Rick at the time, but you were very important to that team. You know what I mean? So your ability to affect winning, that's the part that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's the most important thing. And I always say that now, like even in coaching now, I don't look at stat sheets. I don't look at stat sheets because I want to allow the game to dictate what I'm seeing. And a lot of times you get so entrenched in the stat sheet of what somebody's doing that you may not understand that what they might be doing may look good on stat sheet, but it might not be helping you win it.
Exactly.
But, and Coach Smith used to always say this, I heard him say, stat sheets for losers. And so, you know what I mean? So I like people that have an effect on winning. Whatever environment they go into, that environment excels. Exactly. And so that was you. You know what I mean? Like you had an effect on winning. And a lot of times, even though you scored and you rebounded and you did all those things, but a lot of times the things that you did do, like you might dive on the ball for a possession. You might have knocked. Knocking the ball away from knocking the ball away from Juwan and DP, getting those types of things, or helping on the backside. When a dude had a clean layup, you go up and block. Those types of things are priceless. You know what I mean? So when I saw you go down your senior year, I was kind of like, I don't think it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because you affected winning. You know what I mean? I knew that at a young age. Yeah. And so, when you look back on it, I mean, like you said, D, I mean, D, you played in 2 Final Fours, but more importantly, you won a national championship. Like for me, if you didn't go to North Carolina, there was probably no way that I was going to go to North Carolina. I didn't even know Coach Smith when he came to see me at Fort Union. So, I didn't even know who he was. And that's the truth. I knew LD because LD from SC, but at that point in time, you didn't know if LD was going to be there as well. You know what I mean? So, it was kind of like, I know this guy. You know what I mean? This is a guy that, he was one of the figures that I wanted to go back to New York because I wanted to walk in their shoes. You know what I mean? And so to see you at North Carolina and there's only a few people that I get excited about when I see them. You know what I mean? That's New Edition. And then when I saw you on the visit, I was like, Mom, that's B. Reese. That's the one that went to Teletown with Gina and stuff like that. So to make a long story short, B, when time prevails, years down the road, and somebody walks in, they walk into the museum and they see B. Reese right there, and they see your name, they see you stand like that at a national championship. This is the toughest question that I ask all my participants. What do you want people to say about Brian Reese?
That I helped the program, you know what I mean? I was a big part of the wins that in my 4 years that I was there, be known as a winner. That's the biggest thing. I don't want to be felt like I'm a loser. The life and the game, none of that. I want people to respect me as a winner. That's it.
Well said, my brother. Well said. Well, I'm gonna say, man, you've been very intricate in my growth. Always.
Good.
You've always been solid. There's no doubt about it. The individual that you've always been has always been appreciated for me, for sure. And you've always been somebody I looked up to. Yeah. And I'm glad that I get to call you a brother. I'm glad that I somebody that I wanted to emulate. I got a chance to walk in their shoes. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
I wish I could have got me a national championship, but it's great to have you as a participant on the Carolina Conversation. But more importantly, it's even better to have a person like you to make such an impact in my life, man. And I want to say I appreciate you and I love you, man. And I thank you for taking the time to be on the Carolina Conversation.
Yes, sir, brother. Love you, man.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's please give another hand to our guest, Brian Reese.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. And for those that are watching, when you have the time, if you aren't watching the North Carolina Tar Heels, please watch the Old Dominion women's basketball team. Right now, we're 19-5, tied for second in Conference USA. But another important note, our head coach, Delisha Milton-Jones, an outstanding individual, was nominated and accepted into the Women's Hall of Fame in the 22 induction class. So when you have time, if you aren't supporting the Heels, please support the Lady Monarchs. And I appreciate you. Thank you for watching and participating in the Carolina Conversation.